feel like I should probably prepare for these a little bit more. I feel like it's just like story time with Josh and Marcus while I read from the code book.
Me too.
Or
I
maybe
probably
we-
shouldn't be eating.
Or maybe
alone.
that's the future of this podcast. Reading from the code book. Readings from the code book. Readings from the code book. We need a whole new intro and a whole new theme song and a whole new mascot. Because Horizontal Man is not right for readings from the code book. All right, what are we reading today?
Horizontal Man would do just fine.
Overhead clearances.
Overhead clearances. 230.24.
From the neck. The National Electric Code, of course.
Oh yeah.
It's not up to code. But it's grandfathered in. Ooh,
When you go to replace it,
let's look at so this one,
it's a job I went and looked at.
vertical clearances. So like over a residential property in a driveway, and those commercial areas not subject to truck traffic where the voltage does not exceed 300 volts. 12 foot.
Yeah.
You think that 12 foot? Maybe. I mean, the Weatherhead isn't at 12 foot.
It's
The Weatherhead isn't
No,
at 12 foot,
it's
but
not, no.
maybe the cable. Looks like they raised the cable up.
mm-hmm.
I don't know about you, but I like to see the Weatherhead higher than the cable. It's just like personal opinion, just because what happens is that water is going to travel those wires.
Yeah, so that you don't have this like
Right, and when it rains, the water travels those wires, and depending on how high it is, that means putting water in your Weatherhead from underneath.
right.
And then where's water go from there?
Into your electrical panel.
Right into the line side from the utility company,
Ooh, that wouldn't be good.
right? You might see one picture, but we see another picture. Kayla, just superimpose a different picture. Okay. Here we got Connor kind of leaning over. Like, he's almost cantilevered. He's a little too high on that ladder.
Yeah.
You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like, you're with me. You get me.
Yeah.
Like, but he's doing, like, he's okay. I think if Gavin's on the base of that ladder, we're doing just fine.
Oh yeah.
So if he's on the base of that ladder, we're doing just fine. But on this other picture, you can see this.
Actually, on that picture with Connor, you can't see, but there's actually a safety monitor, just monitoring the safety on that. Right, he's standing right there off to the side.
If he takes another step up,
Connor.
though, that's gonna, it's gonna
You
cantilever.
don't wanna do that, but
And then this other picture, you see this Weatherhead's crooked. It doesn't have support, right? So you think about a point of attachment. You want to make sure that once you get up over the roof. So on top of a roof, you have different clearances. Let's see what we got above roofs. Above roof. So conductors shall have a vertical clearance of not less than 8 feet above the roof surface. The vertical clearance above the roof level shall be maintained for the distance not less than 3 feet in all directions. So depending on where you're at, if it's like, oh, I'm pointing at the wrong one, but if he's on the ladder, if the wire is going across the roof, like let's say it's going the other side of the
other
house,
side.
it's got to be 8 feet above it. But depending on how high your riser is, because you have to make those vertical clearances over the driveway. So let's say this was an alley of a house, and there was a public street or an alleyway, you have to be 18 feet above that. Or if it's a railroad track, you got to be 24 and a half feet, like you got to be 24 feet above a railroad track. So if this is an alley behind the house and it's going across a railroad track, now we're talking about we've got to make sure that we're 24 feet of here.
yeah.
So that could make our mast go higher,
Yep.
depending on where it's got to travel. And then the higher that mast gets, then you have to put supports in,
But yeah, they gotta put more support.
which could help on that. I mean, it looks like they might have.
Oh.
They should have just screwed that thing to the AC unit. Like,
Right there. That's a little danger point right there, where that conduit's crimped up. Surprised they didn't have a problem from that.
let's see, attachment. I'm trying to find the means of attachment, point of attachment. So it says the point of attachment should be no less than 10 feet above finished grade. But I thought there was supports over buildings. How much can you have up on top? Actually, I think it's just an NEC, right? So like, you have to have a strap. You know, every 10 feet, right? Or 3 feet from a coupling, 3 feet from a whatever. So you have to have that conduit has to be supported per the NEC just on basic conduit supports, right? But we usually do that with braces, 2 braces down, you know, so it can't move one way or the other. It's trying to triangulate the attachment itself to the weatherhead.
Yeah, and you get that support a little closer to the weatherhead.
Can you screw those supports right to the deck?
No, you can't put them right to the deck.
Right, it's got to be in the stud. It's got to be in a rafter. You misunderstood?
I misunderstood the question. Yeah, that's all right. It happens.
It's like solar. Like solar used to be like that, where you couldn't use the deck.
Yeah, now.
But now they do it. But a lot of those rafters, like they make you. Some of them they want it like a bolted, like an eye bolt or a threaded rod all the way through the rafter.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just because it's coming from the utility. There's no protection on that. It's
Right.
Like something happens, it's gonna freaking cause some damage.
Right.
Right. So.
Yeah. What else is there to talk about? I mean, there's the only area I didn't see. Let's see. There's only like the 12-foot over residential properties. We know that. Minimum, the lowest level of any service loop has to be 10 feet. So over residential properties and driveways, 12 feet. In those same areas where the voltage exceeds 300 volts to ground, so if it was like 480 volt, 277, 480, they have to be at 15 feet. So really, the only time we ever deal with it, it's either 12 feet or 18. So we're at like a commercial or residential. We kind of live in that range. So maybe we'll just put in the comments down below that you're looking at 12-foot clearance height for residential and 18 for commercial. If you're just looking for the quick answer real quick. There you go. Have a nice day.
See ya.